Hey guys, Ranger here, and welcome back to another reaction and commentary video. And this is to the new Cars 3 Trailer 2. Now, I'm not sure. Obviously, this would have to be the correct one. I imagine there's only one out. But this is Cars 3 Trailer 2 2017. This is on KinoCheck International's channel. So if this is the incorrect channel for this, please let me know. But hopefully this is the same one, so I don't really think it'll matter. It'll matter. But let me go ahead and get this ready. Let's check this out and see what this is. And see, why do you full screened it and it still had the little options menu over on the side for some reason? Thank you. Okay, starting the video in 3, 2, 1, click. KinoCheck. Again, every time. Again, I'm not sure if this is the proper channel. Now, don't worry, I did confirm that this is not the same trailer that we saw before, just on repeat.
2% lower.
I did confirm that, so don't worry.
5% increase down force. 1.2% higher top speed.
Get ready for what's coming. More speed, more horsepower.
Jeez.
More of everything.
Whoa. Okay, so we do see some faces for... Whoa.
You'll never be the racer you once were. You can't turn back the clock, kid. But you can wind it up again.
Dirt. Whoa. Wow. Wow. This film is not yet rated. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we already know it's going to probably be rated PG, which is fine. Okay, now there's a few things to talk about with this new trailer here. Okay, we see a new sponsor with Grandal Oil. We also see, oh gosh, we see Lightning having another crash. Oh jeez. We see Lightning having another crash. That's the only screenshot that I can actually get. Oh no, dang it, that's the only screenshot that I can get. It goes by so fast. But, oh, well, no. Okay, we see another crash here with Lightning crashing. And this is an interesting thing because this scene is not taking place during the day like the other one was. This one is taking place at night. And it is in fact Lightning. We see the number 95 for just a split second, and so that's Lightning having another crash. Oh man, this is definitely going to be a dangerous thing. Okay, I'm still trying to get... Okay. Yeah, we see number 95, and we see Lightning having another major crash, and it looks like another tire has blown out, judging from the deformation of the right front tire. The right rear tire is also gone. Possibly another blowout as well. But obviously, Lightning, this is another crash he's had, and again, another very dangerous, like multiple crashes here. So really uncertain how that's going to play out. And we see another. So it could be that he's having more crashes now. He might be losing his confidence. Maybe it's just where he's beginning to feel older, or maybe just bad tires. But we see another. We see Mac driving across another bridge, and I'm just going to say this looks like it could be the Golden Gate. It looks like it could be the Golden Gate Bridge. If someone's more familiar, please let me know in the comments, because again, this particular scenery is just gorgeous. I love the scenery here. The setting sun, well, it could be a sunrise, but it could also, I mean, it could just as well be a sunrise, sunrise or a sunset. But I'm just going to say like a sunset. And I love the scenery. How the sky on the bottom is already painted orange. and how it's painting a nice color orange to, and you see the shadows being cast across the road as the cars are driving past. You see the shadows from each of the supports on the bridge, and you can see this little lens flare right in the middle over top of Mac's trailer, which gives a really nice effect. I really like that. We see this other really gorgeous scene of them driving across this other bridge that goes across this little river. Um, I'm not sure where this is supposed to be set, but again, this is really gorgeous in how that's designed. Like I mean, like the texture with the grass here, with the brown and green grass, and like the weeds and such. Really nice texture. That really does add a really realistic tone to it. It really does look gorgeous. And again, we see the canyon. Uh, put We see the canyon scene here, which is interesting. I just now noticed. I didn't notice it the first time looking, but but you see actually a again, really nice texture detail. The top of the canyon here is shaped like an old car. It looks like a design for something like Lizzie is, but it also has the body shape like where the back is curved and the front end is shaped. It looks like it could be like a 1932 Ford Roadster, possibly, but it's got a top on it. So, well, obviously they could make it a convertible, but then again, I've never seen a convertible in cars, so obviously, you know, that could be a 32 Ford Roadster, but with its top up. But we see this desert scene, and this could be the Grand Canyon like area. This could be just a desert area, but it really does look nice. And we hear the voiceover with Lightning saying, "I decide when I'm done," and so we finally get to see some faces for the characters. We finally get to see some faces of the cars. And I remember whenever I did the first trailer, I wondered if they would actually, if they would change the characters' appearance any, because they were keeping the characters for the faces. They were keeping the faces for the characters hidden, and so I wondered if they was actually going to change the characters' appearance some. But we see the cars over here on the side. We see this pickup waving the flag, and so obviously they haven't changed the character's appearance. It does look more realistic. We see a nice texture tone here. I mean, we see a nice texture here. We see like the light coming down, being cast on this fence, um, and so it is enhancing. And now we get to see a side view of this new racer and how he is designed. And he's supposed to be one of the new racers, Jackson Storm, and we see something unique. And like the announcer says, he's supposed to be the next generation of high-speed racers. Oh, sorry, high-tech racers. And we see another interesting thing. I think we've seen before. We see these smaller pickup-like vehicles, which looks like Guido, like the other little Guidos, but they're like pickups, which is interesting. And we see a racing simulation, and Jackson Storm is like using that to test. That's interesting. That's a really interesting use of technology like that. And so we get to see more of the characters. We get to see that Jackson Storm, obviously, he's a new racer. And we see other racers out on the track, which is very much like him. These are kind of, somebody said, I think these are supposed to be more like electric cars. And these are supposed to be faster. These are supposed to be like lightning fast cars. And these are supposed to be lightning fast cars. And it's basically, in a sense, it's kind of like these cars here are the more modernized cars of today. They're like the electric cars. They're the more aerodynamic looking cars. The cars are supposed to be faster. And they're supposed to be replacing the older cars. And there are people like myself who are not going to let that happen. But we finally see this other background change. We finally see Lightning's face now. And we see this other car. What was her name? Cruz Ramirez. Okay. Yes. We finally get to see the face of Cruz Ramirez. We finally get to see the face of Cruz Ramirez, the young racing technician that's going to help Lightning to get back into the game. Now, another thing that I want to talk about with this particular screen, look at the setting for this. Look how gorgeous this looks. Look how realistic that this looks. And first, look at the top. the blurred effect around the top whenever as the lighting is coming through the open sections of this old barn. Look at this. That blur effect. That is gorgeous. And look at the old setting here. Look at the trees in the background, the dead-like trees, and the like the grayish, bluish sky. And it looks like this. It looks like a setting where it has been raining or has been overcast all day, raining on and off all day long. And again, look at the texture for the grass here. This very low brownish colored grass that has been underneath this barn for a long time, so it's mostly dead. It hasn't really seen very much sunlight, so it's mostly dead. And as the doors swing open, you see the sunlight, or rather the lighting from outside, the daylight being cast, and you see the shadows move across the grass. Again, it's a very tiny detail, but it really does look great. And we see this other area. Now, okay, I said barn. I could be very much wrong, but we see this other area, and we also notice lightning has a very different color design. We see lightning has a very different design, or very different color than what he did before. We see Lightning McQueen is written in a much bolder text across his roof. Before it was much smaller white cursive. Now it's much bolder text, and then we see the lightning on the side, the yellow lightning stripe, and Rusty's on the back. We see the 95. It looks different, like it's very much different from its original design. And this background here, this looks like an old park, maybe like an old baseball field or an old like an old abandoned amusement park, like that they're going to use for a training ground. And this does look gorgeous. Like this definitely, I love this feel in this particular screen because it really does feel like it has a really nice old vintage texture. And it really does feel old. And okay, another scene here is this particular. Now, okay, I was wrong. It's not a baseball field. It's like an old dirt. Okay, it's an old dirt track field. Okay, it's an old dirt track. And you can look at it, and again, this overcast view of it, this like very low color texture here adds a very desolate, very isolated feel to this area. It adds a very nice old feel that like this place has not seen any action in a long time. And it says welcome to something Speedway on the top, and I can't make that out. But we get to hear the voice again. We finally get to hear Cruz's voice. And we get to see, again, I know it's a little thing with this chain link fence, but look at the detailing for that. Really good. And like the blur effect behind it does look good. And we get to see more of the track, and again, it's very interesting with the shading effects, how they're doing it here. We see the Dynaco 400 back, and we see the shading. Like, look at the overcast right here. You can look up and you can see there's a lot of clouds. There's some blue sky, but you can see like the darker clouds over here on the left, on the top, and you can also see the other. You can see the shadow being cast across the pavement, and in the back you can see, of course, the lighter shaded areas. And we see other little details in terms of the cars, and we see this other car up here that Lightning's passing. And again, we finally get to see a really good close-up of Lightning's face. And again, a few things to talk about with this particular scene. Look at the reflections of the lighting and the vehicles and everything in Lightning's front bumper. Really nice features, really nice detailing. We see a very beautiful like sunset view up on the top, on the upper right. Really looks gorgeous. And we see this other car here, this newer model car, number 54, and you can see the battle damage on the side of the car. You can see the scratches in the paint. You can see the scratches in the paint. You can see the dirt. You can even see the exhaust. You can even see like the burnt, or like the exhaust smoke around the exhaust ports on in front of the back rear tire, or the left rear tire. You see what appears to be dirt or mud. That could possibly be part of his paint scheme. But you see like the dirt, and you see um, like what appears to be mud splatter, and we see a different paint texture on this car. It appears to be more of a metallic paint, because look at how the lighting is cast on the side of this car. It looks more like a metallic paint, possibly. And we see these other cars that Lightning is racing against. And we see here that these cars appear to be longer and wider than Lightning. And Lightning is a bit more bulkier. And so again, it's kind of like the race against like the other NASCAR stock cars against newer model cars that are that look different. And now this one scene here is another part of a crash here with Lightning. And this particular crash scene here is no doubt from the other crash scene that we saw earlier, which is from the nighttime scene. And we see Lightning, we see coming out of the pits, and again we see this nice nighttime setting here with the lights, and we see other cars in the background. We actually see like a nice shine across some of these vehicles here, and we see Lightning participating in dirt track racing. And another thing to notice here: no bars, bail bonds. Anytime, any crime. Okay. And we see this car here on the right. This looks like a derby car. Or, nope, it's a regular dirt track car. And we see this car crashing. And Lightning is just getting all kinds of dirt and mud across him. And so this is like a dirt track deal. Okay, this is like a derby dirt track thing. With, like, where you meet in the middle, you crash. This is the figure 8 track. And this is really interesting. This really adds a very nice, dark, ominous feel to that. And so Lightning is going to participate in some dirt track racing, possibly to help him. And we see this other really nice scene. This looks like the Los Angeles Motor Speedway. And I love this sunset feel up on the top here. I love this. It really does look gorgeous. And we see some of the other cars. We see more rounded rear ends on these cars, giving the impression of the more modernized race cars used in NASCAR for the past few years. And then we see Lightning return, and we see here in this particular shot, Lightning is wearing his original color. I think with the exception of the flames on behind the Lightning itself. I think that was actually changed. But otherwise, most of Lightning's original design and color here is the same. And we see him pull up to a number 95, and which is his number, and look at it. And it's interesting because, and you hear children like cheering him on. And I'm wondering where this particular thing is set here, because if you remember, if you played the Cars video games, then Lightning, okay, this would probably have to be in Lightning's race, or not his race, but his base, or his racing headquarters in Radiator Springs, because he makes a mention about building his racing headquarters in Radiator Springs. And in the Cars video games, they were working on that. And I think in the second game, they open it up. And so here, this is probably inside of that. And it's interesting because so far we haven't seen any of the other characters from Radiator Springs yet. We have not seen any of the other characters: Sarge, Sheriff, Fillmore, Ramon, Flo, Sally. We have not seen any, or Mater. We haven't seen any of these other characters. And we know that these characters are going to be in this film. They would have to be, because it would not be Cars 3 if it didn't feature those characters. And so again, one thing that I'm really curious about is how Sally is going to feel about all these crashes and about everything that's going to be happening here. It would be an interesting development if in this story, if it was like they were already married. It would be interesting for that. But I'm not really sure if that's going to be the case. they may never actually say it, but just leave it up to people's imaginations, people's interpretations as to whether the characters are still dating or whether they are married. Um, which would be an interesting development. Um, but again, I'm very curious as to what they're going to do in this movie. The, the animation itself does definitely look enhanced. The visuals look incredible. It definitely does look a lot more realistic than the first Cars film did. It definitely does look a lot more realistic, and it really looks gorgeous. And I'm really interested about the tone that they're going with. This is definitely has a darker tone. Um, and I'm really curious about the atmosphere. I really want to see more of the atmosphere that they're going with for this film, and I'm really hoping that they don't try to tone it down, or like dumb it down, just simply because parents are afraid of what they're going to be exposing their children to. I mean, heck, you read the newspaper, turn on the news. There's auto accidents rather often. So like this is nothing compared to some of that. Um, so like I said, I'm really hoping that they continue down the path with development that they're going, and that they don't try to dumb things down. Um, and I'm really curious about what they're going to do here. And like I said, I really want to be able to see Sally's reaction to Lightning's crashes and see her in this and see how that goes. And I'm really curious about Cruz as well. I'm really interested to see more of her character. And I'm really curious as to what will actually happen in this. And so hopefully we'll get to see more of this as well. Obviously, when did this say it was supposed to come out? Summer, okay. Now, this was supposed to come out summer. We might get another trailer before then. Maybe. I'm not holding out that we are. Okay, Cars 3 expected release date the 16th of June 2017. Okay, that's actually pretty close. It's actually pretty close. Okay, so June. Okay, so considering June, we might get one more trailer, maybe before it comes out. Then again, maybe not. They may not release another trailer, and you know what? I can understand if they don't because it would spoil. Because if they don't release any more, it won't spoil anything else. If they don't release anything else, then it won't spoil anything else for the characters. And so I'm really curious as to what they're going to do here. I'm really curious as to what they're going to do, and how it's going to look. And again, like I said, I really want to see. I really am interested to see this, and I'm really curious as to. I'm really want to see the rest of this, and I know it's going to be really good. So hopefully, well, I'm expecting it to be good. So again, thank you. Hopefully, we don't have long to wait. So, but again, thank you guys again for joining me. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Give me your theories, thoughts, etc. And thank you guys again for joining me. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video that I do. Take care.